YouTube, what's happening? It is Saturday, May 25th. There are 15 games to talk about today. Yesterday, 8 and 7, 1 unit of profit puts us at 10 of the last 11 days profitable with all these plays. That's even going against Manoah, because what are we doing backing Alek Manoah? Ugh. Bryce getting ejected in the first inning for the Phillies, and the Phillies-Rockies game was just terrible. Either way, with those against us, we still end up profitable. Drop a like, subscribe real quick if you haven't done so, because we're going to jump into today's games right now. All right, first game, we got the Blue Jays and Tigers. We got Berrios at a 2.98 going up against Olsen in a 2.16. Betting markets have the Blue Jays as a slight favorite, 115, over under 8.5, a little bit of juice on the under. Looking at Nerfies, Toronto hits the Nerfie 84.6% of the time on the road. Detroit 84% of the time at home. That puts us at 71.08% Nerfie percent with two pitchers with pretty good ERAs. And the way that Detroit is struggling to hit the ball, and Toronto got pretty much stomped yesterday, I am going to heavily lean on taking the Nerfie in this one. Runs a game, Toronto gets 5.4 for 8th best. Detroit 4 at 21st. So a little bit of advantage Toronto. Toronto is batting 272 over the last week for 6th, and Detroit is batting 234 for 19th. So decent advantage for Toronto there. Strikeouts and walks aren't much of a difference. Toronto 7.4, Detroit 8.2, walks 3 and 3.4. Nothing really to talk about there. This game, with the fact that the over-under is 8.5, we have two decent pitchers. One offense is in the top 10, the other one's in the bottom 10. We're going to pass on the over-under in this one. We are going to take the Nerfie in this one. The numbers line up. We got two decent pitchers. Hopefully we can get out. It's just 6 outs. Come on, guys. You can do it. I know you can. Winner-wise, this one, I attribute Toronto getting stomped yesterday to Alek Manoah, because we shouldn't be backing Alek Manoah in any spot right now. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, oh, he's got a 3 ERA. He's doing better. Wrong. So we are going to... Olsen's 0-5, 216, 106 whip. The pitchers are about equal on this one. I think Toronto's better. Detroit's not going to... I don't see them getting better because they beat up Alek Manoah. So I'm going to take... I don't know. I'm gonna lay off this one. I'm gonna lay off. Well, we're gonna take the Nerfie. We're gonna take the 6 outs and move. There's plenty of other games. So it's the first game. So Nerfie, passing everything else, move on to the next game. Our next game, we got San Francisco and New York, and what a game it was yesterday. That 9th inning was wild to watch, but apparently you just want to bet San Francisco when they're down about 4 or 5 runs in about the 5th inning, because that's what they're going to do. They've done it with 3 straight games now. They had a massive comeback. San Francisco's flexing them runs a game, that number 1 spot, hard right now. So looking at the matchup, we got Hicks with a 2.38 going up against Severino with a 3.48. Betting markets have the Mets again as a slight favor, over under 8.5, a little bit of juice on the under. Looking at the numbers, Giants are 81% Nerfie on the road. Mets are 84% Nerfie at home. That puts you at 68.4. With these two pitchers, I would normally lean the Nerfie, but the fact they're both top 6 in all out of offensive categories right now, I'm going to pass on a Nerfie. If these were middle of the road, sure. Bottom of the road, yeah. But top, can't do it. Giants are getting 8 runs a game, which is still first. They're batting .313, which is second. They're 7.1 strikeouts, which is 9th, and they're getting 4 walks, which is first. Mets are getting 5.5 runs, which is good for 6. They're batting .279, which is 4th. They are striking out a good bit. They got 9.3 strikeouts a game. That's a little concerning. And 2.3 walks, which is 24. So not too good on that end. So advantages for San Francisco in that area. The main thing I'm looking at here is money line. With the two pitchers being Hicks a little bit better, I'm going to, again, I'm going to keep riding San Francisco money line. It has been paying off. I get number 1 offense with some plus money. I'm going to take it every time. Why not? So San Francisco money line. They're going to lose eventually. I know this, but not today, hopefully. So looking at over under 8.5 with the little bit of juice on the under in this one. I can see that with the pitchers, but the two offenses are pretty hot. They're really hot. I actually, with both of them being top 6 in runs and top 4 in averages, I'm going to take the over. 8.5. We have decent pitchers, but these bats are on fire on both sides. Yeah, I'll take the plus 105 and get that over there. So over and Giants money line next game. All right, next up we got Orioles and White Sox. We got Suarez at a 171 and Fedde, how do you say that, with a 3.10. Betting markets have the Orioles as a minus 180, over under 8.5 with some juice on the under. Yesterday, we took the Nerfie. Baltimore Nerfies have been cashing like crazy. In the St. Louis series, it was great, and it's great now because Baltimore on the Nerfie, when they're on the road, is now up to 95.45% of the time they hit the Nerfie. Baltimore cannot score runs in the first inning when they're on the road. I don't know why. It's something about the environment. It's something that is, I don't know. The White Sox are hitting the Nerfie 80.7% of the time at home. That gives you an average chance of 77.09% this could hit. Looking at the pitching matchup, we got Suarez with a 1.78 and Fed with a 3.10. Yeah, I'm taking the Nerfie in this one all day, guaranteed. Eventually, it's going to hit. I mean, eventually. Baltimore's hit they actually scored a run in 4.55% of their games in the first inning. That's it. That's not good. 2 games ago, it would have hit, but the White Sox decided to walk in a run thanks to the Baltimore pitcher. It happens either way. Runs wise, we're looking at Baltimore 443, which is 14th. Chicago is at 329, which is 26th. Averages, Baltimore is 226, Chicago is 220. They're both in the bottom 10, 20, and 24. Baltimore's number 1 in strikeouts, 6.4. That's pretty good. Chicago's 10 even, which is 26. Baltimore is 3.1 in walks, and Chicago is 3.4 in walks themselves. That's 13th and 8th. So no real advantages here. Nothing really stands out across the board advantage-wise either side. The only thing that really stands out is the pitching. It looks pretty decent. Everybody's about mid to low range on stats right now. The over-under is 8.5. I would lean 8.5 on this one with the under. We're going to do that. We're going to take the under 8.5, that minus 125. We're going to pass on the money line, and we are for 100% sure taking the Nerfie next game. All right, next up, we got Texas and Minnesota. We got Lorenzen at a 3.61 going up against Paddock with a 4.47. Betting markets have the Twins as a 135 favorite. My over-under is 8.5 with some juice on the over. Stats-wise, Texas is hitting the Nerfie 55% on the road. Minnesota 60 at home. Nothing good. That's even territory for Yerfie territory there. It's not good. Texas is 29th in the majors at 2.3 runs a game. They're batting 192 for 28th. They're striking out 7.8 times, which is 16th, and they're 3.8 on walks, which is 3rd. Minnesota is getting 4.1 runs, which is 17th. They're batting 240 for 17th. They're getting some strikeouts and walks, 18th and 27th in walks. Not too good there. So statistically, Minnesota is better, about 10 spots better in the rankings for both runs and batting average. Looking at this matchup, I can see how Minnesota's favored. They're playing better, obviously. Pitching matchup leans a little bit better towards Texas. This is one of those weird ones where nothing really stands out. Over under 8.5 with a middle and a low. We're not taking an over in this one. Higher ERAs. I don't want to take under. This game is going to be a complete pass on everything, I think. Yep. So we're going to pass on everything next game. All right, we got the Braves and the Pirates. The Pirates, I think, scored another run just now. They have it from yesterday because they put it on the Braves yesterday. Today, we got Lopez at a 1.54 going against Keller with a 3.84. Betting markets have the Braves as a 1.55 favorite, over under 8.5 with no juice either way. Stats-wise, Atlanta is Nerfy 83% of the time on the road. Pittsburgh 72% of the time at home. That gives you a 60% chance. Atlanta is 4.1 runs a game for 20th. Pittsburgh is 5.3 for 9th, so advantage Pittsburgh. Atlanta is 226 average for 20th. Pittsburgh is 252 for 14th. Middle of the pack, no real advantage. Slightly for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh striking out 28th most. Atlanta 23rd most. Atlanta's walking 20th most. And Pittsburgh is 10th. So no real advantages across the board. Slightly there's a run advantage for Pittsburgh on a little bit. 20, 30 points for batting average. Nothing crazy to talk about. Pitching matchup definitely looks like it favors Atlanta here. Atlanta money line might be the play here. Over under 8.5. I don't like this over under either way. If anything, with both teams struggling offensively, middle of the road is struggling, I would lean under in this one, but that burned yesterday. We're going to pass on the total on this one because I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to lean with the pitching matchup and the statistics here. I'm going to, I don't like how this matchup is looking. Yeah, you got the pitching matchup with Atlanta. That's great and all. But statistics wise are leaning Pittsburgh. But I don't like the Pittsburgh pitching matchup. I don't like that either. So I might have to do it. It's going to be a pass on this game as well. Next game. Next up, we got Seattle and Washington. We got Gilbert with a 3.2 and Trevor Williams at a 2.35. Currently, the Mariners are a 175 favor. Over under 8.5 with some juice on the over. Stats wise, Seattle hits the Nerfy 77.8% of the time on the road. Washington 85.7% of the time at home. That gives you a 66.7% average, close to 70. You could play if you want to. I'm not playing the Nerfy. This one with two decent pitchers, it could be a good Nerfy, but I'm just not feeling it. I already got two other Nerfies. I'm good. I don't want to have a whole card of Nerfies. So runs wise, Seattle is getting 3-point runs a game, which is 27th. Washington is 4.6, which is 12th. Seattle's batting 203. Washington's batting 249. Advantage again, Washington. Seattle is striking out 10.4 times a game. That's 27th. Washington is striking out 8 times. That's 18th. And Washington is not getting any walks at 1.3, but Seattle's getting 3.1. So they're getting some walks. So a little bit of advantage there. Pitching matchup seems about equal. Gilbert's way more innings, 3.2, 1 whip. Williams, 235, a little bit over 1, but only 46, but he has 4 now. I would call that about equal. I don't really see a difference there. Seeing the matchup, I don't see, according to stats, how are the Mariners a 175 favorite in this matchup? I just don't understand. If anything, I said it yesterday, I lean Washington, and Washington, I'm not sure if they actually won or not. Yeah, let's take a look. I'm curious. Did Washington win yesterday? They did, 161. I said they didn't make sense. Washington won. This is another one. Washington's playing better right now. It doesn't make sense. I would lean Washington in this one. They got the better statistical pitcher. They got the better stats right now. You know what? I just talked myself into it. We're going to take the Washington money line today. Oh, feels weird to do, but Washington money line. Over under, we're going to pass on. Nothing looks good there. Nerfy, we're not doing. So money line Nationals, next game. All right, next up, we got Houston and Oakland. We got Arrighetti Spaghetti going up against JP Sears, 7-1-6 versus 4-3-1. Currently, betting markets have the Astros as a 145 favor, over under 8.5 with some juice on the over. Looking at the numbers, Houston hits the Nerfy 63% of the time on the road. Oakland hits it 88.9% of the time at home. That gives you a 56% average. That's a pass all day. Houston is scoring 5.8 runs for 7th best. Oakland is 5 runs for 10th best. So both top 10 scoring runs. Batting averages. Houston is batting 292, which is 2nd best. Oakland is 267, which is 9th best. So top 10 batting averages. Houston is only striking out 6.2 times, which is the best in the majors. Oakland striking out 11.2, which is the worst in the majors. So massive advantage for Houston. And walks wise, Houston they are getting 3.8 walks a game for 3rd, and Oakland is only getting 2.8 for 18th. So we have advantages in strikeouts, but other than that, they're both top 10 in offense. They're not really much of a difference when it comes there. Houston's slightly better, sure. But pitching matchup wise, you can see the numbers here. We're going to have some runs in this game. So, and with both offenses being top 10, over unders 8.5. We're taking the over 8.5 all day in this one, minus 125. Sidewise, I don't trust Arrighetti Spaghetti. I just don't trust them. And both teams are batting close to the same. If Arrighetti was more of a strikeout pitcher, I would lean more Houston because Oakland's striking out so much, but I just can't right now. So we're going to pass on the total. We're going to pass on Nerfy, and we're going to take the over 8.5 next game. All right, next up, we got Kansas City and Tampa Bay. We have Singer with a 2-7 going against Savali, however you say it, 5.92. Betting markets have the Rays as a 120 favor, over under 7.5 with some juice on the over. Stats wise, KC hits the Nerfy 73% of the time on the road, Tampa 70% of the time at home, 51% pass. Kansas City is scoring 8.4 runs a game for the best in the majors right now. Kansas City is batting 335 right now, best in the majors in the past week. They're 7th in strikeouts at 7.2, and they're 3.4 for 10th best in walks. Pretty awesome numbers, top of the board, right? Tampa Bay, they're scoring 2 runs a game in the last week. That's 29th best. They are batting a lovely 167, which is 29th best. They are only striking out 8, which is 19th, and they're getting 2.2 walks. So there are massive differences in this game. 1st and 29th in runs, 1st and 29th in averages, 7th and 19th in strikeouts, and 10th and 27th in runs. All of that alone, then you add Singer, who is a beast of a pitcher. How the hell are the Rays favored? Statistics don't line up. Nothing is making sense here. So that being said, I'm taking Kansas City money line. I'm taking Kansas City money line, and I'm going to throw Kansas City -1.5 just because the numbers are so strong in Casey's favor. I don't understand how Tampa Bay's favored. So we're going to pass on Murphy, obviously, but yeah, over under 7.5 with a awesome offense and a miserable offense. We pass on those on totals. We don't know what to do on that one. So we're going to take KC money line, KC run line, -1.5, not the plus, because if you try to do a run line right now, it's going to give you a +1.5. We don't want that one. We're going to go to the alt line, go to the -1.5 side for KC, and that's going to be some good juice. Maybe only put half a unit on that one, maybe. So that's it for that one. Next game. Next up, we got the Brewers and the Red Sox. We got Ray with a 407 against Pavetta and 304. Currently, the Red Sox are a 150 favorite, over under 9.5 with some heavy juice on the under. Numbers, we have Milwaukee at 69% nerfy when they're on the road. Boston 58 as the home team. That gets you about a 40%. We pass on those. Milwaukee is getting 4 runs a game, which is 20th. Boston 6.2, which is 5th. So good advantage, Boston. Milwaukee's batting 231 for 17th. Boston 254, which is 12th. No real advantage. Lean Boston. Strikeouts wise, 15th to 25th. 7.8 for Milwaukee. 9.6 for Boston. Advantage Milwaukee. And Milwaukee's getting 3.8 walks to Boston's 2.6. That's 3rd and 21st. So you have a little bit of advantage for Boston on the runs. Other than that, everything else, Milwaukee has more walks. Nothing really stands out there. Pitching matchup, nothing really stands out. Pavetta has a little bit better numbers. Whole number lower ERA. 0.82 whip is pretty nice. That 30 to 2K to walk ratio, I'd love to see that. With the fact that we're getting Boston's 150, that's pretty high for the numbers not being that good. But not different here. Over under 9.5. This is going to be a pass on that because when you have a team in the bottom 20 on runs, that ain't good for an over, especially with the pitching matchup like it is. Red Sox 150. I'm going to take the Red Sox. They might only be in the money line parlay though. I don't know if I'm going to put them straight up because 150 juice, that's not good. Maybe I can wait and see if it drops a little bit, but I just can't see that. So Red Sox will be in a money line parlay. Maybe by themselves. I don't know. We'll see how many bets I have total. Pass on the over-under. Pass on Murphy. Next game. All right, next up, we got the Cubs and the Cardinals. We got Italian with a 2-2-0 against Mikolas with a 5-7-7. Currently, betting markets have the Cardinals as a slight favorite at 115. Over under 8.5 with some juice on the under. Looking at the numbers here, we have the Cubs hit the nerfy 80% of the time on the road. St. Louis 78% of the time at home. It gives you a 62.6%. Not really liking that. Cubs are dreary still. They still are not doing good. They're 29th in runs at 2 runs a game. St. Louis is 16th in runs at 4.25 runs a game. Advantage St. Louis, if you want to call it that. St. Louis is 24th in batting average at 0.213. Chicago is 131. They're dead last. They're batting 131 as a team in the past week. That is wild to me. Crazy. They're both Chicago striking out 8.7 times for 23rd, St. Louis 8 for 19th. They're both bottom half strikeouts. And Chicago's 3.2 in walks. St. Louis is 2.7 in walks. That's 12th and 19th. This game is terrible. And then you have a decent pitcher Italian. Mikolas, I don't know. I mean, 5.7, you just are what you are, right? So we have one pitcher that looks like he can give up some. Italian might shut him down. But again, it was the same thing with Shota. Okay, what are you going to get? 1 run, 2 run help? What are you going to do? So this one, I don't lean aside. I don't know. This game is terrible. Only thing I'm going to lean, that 5-7 is still scary, but the fact that both teams are struggling so hard to score and do anything, under 8.5 looks to be the play here. So I'm going to do that. Under 8.5, pass on the side, pass on Murphy. Next game. Next up, we got the Dodgers and the Reds. We got Bueller and 405 going against Greenwood is 3-2-2. Currently, the Dodgers are a 165 favorite in the money line. Over under 9.5 with some heavy juice on the under. Stats wise, Dodgers hit the nerve 62.5% of the time on the road, Cincy 76.9% at home. It gives you a 48% pass on the nerfy. Dodgers are scoring 3.6 runs for 24th best. Cincinnati 4 runs is 20th best, so both bottom 10 run scoring, which didn't matter yesterday. This includes yesterday's outburst from both teams. That's how bad the numbers have been for these two teams. Dodgers are batting 228 for 20th. Reds are batting 185 for 28th best in the major. So again, bottom 10 in averages. Dodgers are 7.2 on strikeouts, which is 7th, and Cincy is 10.6, swinging at everything for 28th. However, Cincy is getting the most walks, 4.8. They're first in walks. Probably from Ellie. He's probably getting the most. Dodgers are 2.4 for 23rd. So we have nothing really stands out on runs or batting average. Nothing stands out here. Pitching matchup, there's nothing that really stands out. The numbers are kind of similar in this one. Brewers only pitched 13 innings, so nothing stands out here. Over under wise, again, I would lean the under, but the teams popped off yesterday. Cincy definitely popped off, but I think it was what, 9-5, 9-6 final. That's still crazy. Even with the pop off, their numbers are still bad, but you do have that little trend upward just from that game yesterday. Makes me want to lay off and see if they go up again or they plateau and go back down. We'll see. So I'm going to pass on the side. I'm going to pass on the total and pass on nervous. This game's a pass all around. Next game. All right, next up, we got the Phillies and the Rockies. We got Nola at a 305 going against Hudson, and it's 589. Currently, the Phillies are a 240 money line favorite, over under 10.5 with some little bit of juice on the under in this one. That game was wild yesterday. I expected runs, and it was none. Even went to extras and didn't have any runs. When Bryce gets ejected in the first inning for some nothingness, you know something's going to happen in that game. It was wild. Either way, we move on to today. Philly is 68% Nerfy on the road. Colorado is 65 Nerfy at home. That gives you a 44% Nerfy chance. Pass all day. Philly is second in runs at 6.8. Colorado is 4.2, which is 17. So Colorado has fallen off their streak from last week and a half ago. So, but Philly's they're still up there. So they're batting 276 for 5th. Colorado's batting 231 for 17th. Again, massive advantage for Philly. Philly's striking out 7.2. Colorado 8. That's 7 and 19th. Philly's getting 3.8 walks. Colorado's getting 3, 3rd and 15th. So all advantages to Philly in this one. Pitching matchup, definite advantage for Philly. I see why 240. I'm taking the money line. Again, I'm going to take Philly. It burned me finally. Philly finally, they can't win every game. They're 37-15. They're going to lose some games. It's just like the Marlins. They're going to win some games. It happens. So it's baseball. The worst team still wins 60 games. The best team loses a roughly 60 games. So either way, I'm going to take the Phillies again. I'm going to take the Phillies on the run line again because the stats just say to do it because there's such a discrepancy in the numbers here between the two teams. And we know that the talent-wise is pretty good too. So, and we got a pitching matchup with Hudson's ERA and WHIP is miserable versus 305 and 1 for Nola. I'll take that every day. So Philly running line, Philly run line. Over under, I'm going to pass on. After that one yesterday, it was like 11, 10.5, 11, and it ended up like 3-2. We're going to pass on that. Colorado's struggling to score, so we're going, and Philly somehow got shut down by the Colorado pitching of all things. So we're going to pass on that. Take Philly on the run and money, and that's it. Next game. Next up, we got Cleveland and the LA Angels. We got BB in this 393 going up against Soriano in a 330. Right now, we have Guardians at a 135. Moneyline favorite, over under 7.5 with some juice on the over. Looking at the numbers, we have Cleveland hits the Nerfy 85.1% of the time on the road. LA 73% of the time at home. That gives you a 63% chance. Not something I want to play. That's a pass. Looking at the stats, we have Cleveland is 6.2 runs a game, which is 5th best. LA is 4.8, which is 12th best. So we got top 12 offenses here. That's come to look at. Cleveland is 214 in batting average, though. They're 23rd. So they're getting the runs, but they're not batting well. And LA is batting 244, which is 14th. So that's something to look at here. So advantage LA. Cleveland is striking out 7.6. Angels 6.8, 13th and 5th. Again, top 13. And walks-wise, 3.4 and 3.2, which is 10th and 13th. Again, top 13. So we got some top numbers. The only thing that stands out is Cleveland batting is not that great, 2.14. 2 pitchers in the 3s, the whips in a 1.2. Leans to say we might have a few runs, but not too many runs. So we're going to pass on that over-under of 7.5. Looking at the stats, I don't see why the Guardians are 135. This should be more of a pick 'em in my mind, but I'm not going to take the Angels. We're not going to take Cleveland. We're going to pass on this game completely. Next game. All right, next up, I got the Yankees and the Padres. We got Stroman with a 305 and Ceaswood also with a 305. Currently, the Padres are a slight favorite at home, over under 7.5 with no juice either way. Looking at the stats, the Yankees hit the Nerfy 70% of the time on the road. San Diego 80% of the time at home. That puts it at 56%. We're going to pass on that. Yankees are scoring 5.67 runs, which is good for 8th best. San Diego at 4 runs, which is 20th. So we got some advantage New York in this one. Yankees are batting 279, which is 4th. San Diego's batting 270, which is 8th. So we have San Diego that is batting well, but they're not scoring. And we have Yankees that are batting well and scoring. So we got an advantage New York already. Yankees 6.5 strikeouts for 2nd best. San Diego 6.5 for 4th best. So we have top 4 team strikeouts. Yankees are 17th in walks. San Diego's 26th in walks. So only real advantage. We have a slight advantage in New York when it comes to actually scoring people, getting people across the plate. Pitching matchup, they're 305. Only thing Stroman's whip is way worse. Cease not .93 is much nicer. With the way the matchup lines up, I don't see both teams are in. They're both batting well, but with that 20th overall for San Diego, that does worry me on the runs. So I'm going to lean the over-under alone. Side-wise, I can't. Nothing stands out to say pick this side. I hate to do it, but this game is going to be a pass on everything as well. Next game. All right, last game, we got the Marlins and Diamondbacks. We got Sanchez with a 6.41 against Montgomery with a 4.98. Currently, we have the Diamondbacks at a 180 favorite, over under 9.5 with some juice on the under. Stats-wise, Miami hits the nerfy 78% of the time on the road, Arizona 61% of the time at home. Miami is scoring 3 runs a game, which is 26th best. Arizona's getting 4.6, which is 15th best, so we have advantage Arizona. Both bottom half, not that good, though. Miami is batting 253 for 13th. Arizona's batting 267 for 9th. Slight advantage Arizona, but they're both top 13, which is weird because Miami is batting well, but they can't score the runs. That's interesting. Miami is striking out 6.8 for 5th best. Arizona 7.2 for 7th best. So we got 2 top 7 strikeout teams. Miami's only getting 2 walks a game. Arizona's getting 1.8 walks. This is 29th and 30th in walks. Neither team wants to walk. So this one's a fun one. We have 2 high ERAs. We have a combined over 11 ERA. We have over under 9.5. We have 2 teams that are struggling to score runs, though. So that's the fun part. Neither team's doing well scoring runs, but they are both in the top. They're 9th and 13th in batting average. So it means they can get on base. They struggle to get the base across the plate, which is a little bit concerning. I don't, numbers wise, I see how Arizona's favored. I'm going to take Arizona in a money line parlay. Miami's won 2 games in a row. That's something we should have pointed out. Arizona's lost the last one, obviously, to Miami. I will probably take Arizona in a money line parlay only. I don't trust the over-under. Those ERAs look high. That makes me want to take it. Before I would look at those ERAs and say, yep, I'm taking the over. But now I see stats and I see they're struggling to score. They're struggling to bat. Arizona might get 5 runs. Miami might get 2, and you end up 7 total, and boom, your night's ruined. We don't want to see that. So I'd rather pass on that. Arizona will go in a money line parlay. But other than that, that's it for this one. 15 games, all broken down. There was some passes, more passes than I thought there would be, especially for a Saturday. But if the numbers aren't there, the numbers aren't there. And I don't want to force bets just to force them, because I used to be that person where I have action on every single game. And you realize quick, there's games that you should not be placing anything on. So we look at the statistics, we take the numbers where they are. If they're there, they're there. If they're not, they're not. What can you do? The good thing about baseball, it's every single day. There's going to be baseball, except for a couple of days in July for a break. You got baseball every day, and we love that. So it's okay to pass on some games. So that's it. Drop a like, comment, let me know what I missed. Let me know if you're fading or following, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.